Welcome back, tribe. I have one here from 9 years ago. I thought it was 7. Take the black pill. So they're saying this man was ahead of his time, and they're laughing at him. Let's get into it. See what he says.
Here we are again. I didn't think I was going to have to make this video again. But unfortunately, it's become apparent to me that you just haven't learned. You're still living in fucking La La Land. Little fantasy world where everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to get all better.
You're not doing yourself favors smoking, G. Jeez.
Let me tell you something, buddy.
Here we
It's
go.
not going to happen. Okay? All right, so check this out. I was reading some threads last night, and it was just the usual stuff on there. People were talking about, somebody posted some Tinder experiment screen caps. You already know how Tinder experiments go. You know how OkCupid experiments go. We know how it goes, but there's new people on the board, all right? More Redditors, more underage kids, more Tumblr, white knights and shit. You already know how it is. And they don't know, okay? They don't get it. I gotta tell them. I gotta school them right now. I'm afraid. I wish I didn't.
Even how this dude looked, like passport bro wasn't a thing. Talking about getting a passport, going overseas wasn't a thing yet. But even this guy, not a looker, and he smoked, and he doesn't take care of his body. Who knows what other bad habits he has? Regardless, even this guy could go overseas and be successful in Southeast Asia. That's how crazy it is.
I have to, but I got to, okay? Listen, you kids, you're living in La La Land, all right? You're thinking, every little thing you do, you're thinking, oh, this next thing I do, this is gonna be what, I'm lonely, I can't find a girl, I'm a fucking loser, blah, blah, blah. This next thing I do, it's gonna be the last thing I gotta do. This is just the last little step I gotta do. And then I'm gonna be getting the ladies, and I'm doing this. If I go, listen, buddy, afraid it's not quite that easy. You see, if you're reading Tinder Experiments, if you're reading OkCupid Experiments, you're probably already too fucking far gone, all right? You're probably already fucked, okay? You probably just aren't cut out to make it, okay?
Okay.
There was a thread I was just reading just now. Some guy, 14-year-old kid or whatever, found some girl he grew up with. They were dating. They were whatever, and they were 18 years old. They were saving each other virginity for marriage. And there, he's thinking to himself, oh, and any bitter loser who had been seeing this shit, been paying attention to these kids or whatever, some background character in their lives, some bitter fucking loser, who had thought to himself, oh man, that had just been me. If I'd just been that 14-year-old kid, if I'd just done this and that, then I would have made it. No, it doesn't work like that, because you know what? She met a genetically superior male.
Mm-hmm.
She ran into a genetically superior male, and she was alone with this genetically superior male for just a few days, and he fucked her brains out. She didn't give one fuck about this loser that she dated for 4 years. She didn't give a shit about this fucking loser. Why? Because he was genetically inferior. Women aren't bound. And I'm not a fucking feminist, all right? The whole video I made about that was supposed to be an underlying message that you pick up on there, all right? And it was just kind of had a little satirical tinge or whatever to it. That's what the point of the video was, all right?
Yeah, you know what? He's somewhat correct, because I don't understand where the Disney mentality comes from with modern men today. It's switch. Women used to have it. Now men have it. Women have become far more realist and pragmatic, opportunist, you could say. But the men used to be like that. They used to be logical thinkers. Now they fall into this trap. I don't know, maybe the feminization of men. Maybe what society pushes a man should be soft, right? In his emotions, weak, all that shit has brought forth this mentality that she must love me for me, no matter what, even if I'm down on my luck, even if I have nothing to offer, who I am as a person is special and should be enough. Like, that's bullshit. It's never been the case in history. Your grandfather never taught that way, or your great-great-grandpappy never thought that way. Like, it's something that seeped into mainstream consciousness in Western male's mind just recently. It's insane.
At this underlying message, okay? We're in we're kind of living in two different worlds right now, okay? We were raised to believe something that isn't true.
Yeah. And by the way, life's a competition. You've known this since you were in school, competing against your friends. Some people were more talented or more gifted at other things, and we were all getting older and older. And as time passed, we saw that girls were paying attention to certain guys, and certain guys always had a certain look. And then you had to rise up to the occasion, if you didn't have the certain look, to start looking that way yourself, which meant taking care of your body, getting that charisma, that personality, being funny, being all that stuff. You had to become more attractive, dress better, have better hygiene, whatever it was. But you had to raise the standard to match the other guys so that you could get the same attention. And this wasn't an issue until, that mainstream consciousness shift in men. Yes, men compete. Yes, let the best man win. Now it's like a doomer mentality. Oh, woe is me. I don't have a square jaw. It's over. So there's a million things you can do. A blue book is one of them. That's the shortcut these days. Literally, your life could change with a plane ticket. But the guys in the West, and I don't blame them because of how much worse it's gotten since the 10 years this video's been out, but guys don't even want to compete anymore. It's hard to compete in the system when economically you're pinned down. You don't even have a job to be able to buy yourself nice clothes, a nice cologne, go to a gym, work out every day. Like guys, look, and then technically that could be an excuse too, because you could do body weight exercises. You don't have to eat that much. You could go on a diet, lose some weight. Guys are probably spending money on microtransactions, video games, the new Call of Duty that came out. I mean, there's a million things you can do, but it's not as easy as it was before. Everybody had a decent shot at moving up the social ladder. It's become increasingly harder in a post-COVID world with inflation running away and your wages not keeping up. So I get it. We have a multi-tiered issue here where delusions of what the standard man should look like from the other side has grown exponentially. Inflation has grown exponentially. Your wages have been suppressed. So yes, I get it. It's harder. But that never stopped anybody during the World War II, World War I, Civil War, all this stuff that's going on, the silent generation, everybody that's ever had to deal, all generations have dealt with some shit somewhere, and people still competed. Why? Because there's no other choice. You have to pick your hard. It's hard to be broke and it's hard to be rich. Which one do you want to struggle at? Life is a struggle.
And that's if, all you got to do, you just got to be a nice stand-up guy, get a nice job, find that nice girl, get your nice white picket fence and your dog and your kids. But see, that's not going to be going on anymore. Okay. Because women, well, I mean, you can see the statistics for yourself. And this was like 3 years ago, the majority of children were being born to unwed mothers. Guys don't want to get married because then they get fucked. Alimony, child support. Your wife gets fat. Wife doesn't fuck them anymore. And here's the thing too. Okay. There's some statistics people will say. They'll say, oh, well, the majority of guys have female partners. The majority of guys get married. The majority of guys have children. But why is there so many divorces? Why are these children growing up in broken homes? I'll tell you why. Because the women, they get the good taste of the genetically superior men. They get that taste. And they will still get married eventually. And they'll be fucking miserable because every single day of their life, they'll be thinking back to when they got gang banged by the football team in the locker room.
Jesus.
That's what they wanted. They got chosen by genetically superior men. And they had these experiences with genetically superior men. And then eventually get locked down by some genetically inferior man who just happens to, be a little more stable. We call these the beta bucks, the beta cucks. They settle down and they're fucking miserable. That's why they get fat. That's why they don't have sex with you. If they were able to, lock down a genetically superior male, and that happens. It happens. Those couples continue to have healthy sex lives. Those, they stay in shape and they take care of themselves because they're happy. They're happy that they're with a genetically superior male. The women who get fat, the women who don't have sex, it's because they're fucking miserable because they already got a taste of the good life. Or even if they didn't, it's out there. They see it. They're watching TV. They're watching the hunks on TV. They're reading the male models in the fucking magazines on Tumblr or wherever they're at. And they're seeing the good stuff. They're seeing the good life. And they're thinking, I deserve that. Why don't I have that? I'm fucking miserable. I'm gonna get fat. And I'm gonna get my revenge on this loser that I had to marry. He's not gonna be able to have a sexy wife. He's not gonna be able to have this because he doesn't deserve it. He's genetically inferior scum. Trash.
Oh my.
That's what they're thinking. And that's just how it is. And then they'll get divorced. And then they're cougars and they'll go around and they'll fuck whatever they can get because they're trying to hang on to that genetically because they know because we're in this. Like I said, we're in this dual realities, where we're trying to keep up this facade, as society's crumbling around us, as civilization is collapsing. We're trying to keep up this facade that this is what, the happy family and the white picket fence. But that's not, that's on its way out, I'm afraid. And I don't know what's coming. It's going to be probably not very good, whatever's coming up next. But women, well,
the last solution men have is going overseas. A practical solution that every man can do because the dynamics still work. You have a male that earns far more than the local population. The women will be taken care of. They'll have a family. He's able to afford it. But that dynamic doesn't work on the other side because Western women aren't seen as prizes to other men for long-term commitment for building a family for children. Simply for all the mentality that the Western men have wanted to leave behind. You know, the masculine energy, they're not friendly, they're not really fit. You know, we have obesity crisis in the West. Masculine energy is an understatement. Combative, always treating you like the enemy, like they're doing you a favor. Never coming to the table and compromising on certain things to make sure that in the end you both win and that you build something better than either could by themselves. It's not building a legacy together. It's just how much I could get out of this person. We have an adversarial mentality to men and women now in the West in general. That doesn't exist out in the rest of the world. So the men have started spreading word. That's why it's literally blown up within a couple of years, and it's seeped into the mainstream consciousness about going overseas. Men should be stacking their chips, working hard, keeping your head down, just playing the field casually if you're living in the West, and then getting that plane ticket and going overseas to see for yourself. And if you want to bring her back, that's your choice. Protect your assets. There are ways. And if you want to stay overseas to, utilize the power of the dollar and like 5x your earning potential in that local country and live a life far better than you could, say, stateside, then you are more than welcome to do that as well. The point is, you have options. For the other side, it doesn't work that well. They're left to compete for a smaller and smaller and smaller pool of men, which you could see the psychological effect it's having on team women.
They're out there and they're taking the good stuff. Okay. They're getting to the 20s, hot guy. Oh, this is great. Hot guy, date a hot guy, fuck a hot guy over and over again. And, they love it because they're on Tinder, they're finding the hot guys, they're fucking them. And you're sitting here to yourself, if I just hit a new PR on my bench, if I just buy that new suit, if I just, you're playing catch up, you're trying to catch up and you're trying to be something, but you've already lost. You've already failed. You know what I mean? My finger's been in this camera shot this whole time. You failed. It's over. It all comes down to genetics.
Defeated, bro.
If you're genetically superior, women sense it. Bone development, height. Why do women hate short men? Because they have inferior bone development. They might have the chiseled face, but genetically, it's not there. That's why women hate short men. Why do women hate ugly men? Why do women hate men that have big old fat moon face? Because I don't have the sharp chiseled bone development that signifies that I have a superior genetic profile. You know what I mean? And I don't know when you guys are gonna get it figured out. You're trying to catch up. You're trying to fill in the blank. You know what I mean?
That's fine, though. Some men have it easy. They're born with all the gifts. They don't have to work for anything, just like some women are pretty and some aren't. And they get their benefits from pretty privilege. It doesn't stop you from competing. You actually have no choice. Life is a competition. You get to pull out and say, yeah, I'm cool. Flipping the board. I give up. No, you won't get picked at. You will die alone. And some guys will cope with that reality and be like, well, I'd rather die alone than deal with the harpy. You never had the harpy, bro. That's the point, because you never worked to even get a decent woman that would respect you, because it takes work. It takes self-improvement. You have to build up your life in a way where you're independent of everybody else, and then people magnetize to you. You're looking for happiness in another woman. That's what's the problem with all these guys and the Western male mentality today, that you need to find someone to complete you. It's like the cringe 1990s version of what chicks were looking for, like my other half, my universe partner. It's such bullshit. Women pick winners at the end of the finish line. If you stop when the gunshot goes off and you're at the starting line and you're watching everybody else run the race, some dudes are going to be naturally faster than you. You got to train harder to keep up or surpass them potentially. Because the guys that are extremely handsome, very few of them will actually work hard or have the work ethic to 10x their natural gifts. They just coast through life. That's what most people do with these natural talents. They'll coast on their natural talents. Hard work beats talent unless talent works hard. It's very true. But most guys don't want to accept that because it's not fair that I have to work so hard for scraps. Well, you actually haven't busted your ass to the point you need to do to actually get a decent woman. And like I said, in the world we live in today, we're in an international economy. You could fly all over the world, my friend. It's within, like a 12, 14-hour flight reach for you to go into a paradise land. If you did the work on yourself, you can have the slice of paradise you've been looking for. You just have to look a little further today, because the pond has gotten more and more rotten around you, which is fine. That means competition is still viable, that you could get a huge ROI on self-improvement. Still, it's not the end of the world. What they're talking about, it would have to apply to the whole world where you're completely screwed and society holds you down no matter where you go. There's nowhere, no corner of the earth that would be safe, that you are genetically subpar as a man. That doesn't exist. You can go fucking all over the world. It just takes more work. But more work shouldn't stop a man. That's what men do. They compete. I don't know. I can't relate to the doomer mentality because I don't have it in me to just give up. And most men are wired this way. Unless you've been defeated in a feminized household, or you didn't have a father growing up, or something traumatic happened that completely stunted your mental development, or made you think that masculinity was somehow toxic, and you've tried to enter into this new age masculine, new male that resembles more like destiny, like straight cucks, than what men used to be. I don't know.
You're thinking, this is all I got to do. This is, if he was just a virgin. Oh, if I just, if I had some more money. Dig this, okay? Yeah, okay, women, they say if a man's richer, women are more satisfied. But it's somewhat true, but I mean, there's a guy he was a billionaire. His wife took him to the fucking cleaners. 80% of your income's going to alimony and child support for 18 years because wealth is okay. I mean, wealth is a good thing. It's, wealth is power. Wealth, you can use that for plastic surgery. You can use that to get steroids, whatever you got to do to shape yourself to be more, to have that stronger appearance of genetic quality. But I mean, I don't know what I can tell you guys is that you're probably fucked. You're probably just totally fucked for life, and you're probably fucked from the day you were born. Okay, I'm not trying to say, that you can't better yourself for yourself, but you're sitting here, you might be 20, 21, 22, and you're thinking, okay, well, it just hasn't really happened for me yet, but I'm just going to keep going. But these women, from 14 years old, from 15 years old, once they're, once they've got their sights on a genetically superior male, I mean, that's it. That's what they want. That's what they get. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, shit's going to be really fucked up. You're probably never going to be in a happy relationship that you're looking for. Probably never going to happen.
He is so defeated.
And, that's what I was trying to get at my other video. I'm trying to say, I was trying to, trying to portray this persona of kind of like a little bit of feminism, but really just trying to hit you with that real message underneath that. But, people just weren't getting it.
Let's see what else he says.
To be able to kind of keep going through life in a happy way. Even maybe they're not very happy, but I mean, it's something because otherwise what I foresee in the future, I don't know, who knows, like I said, who knows what kind of future we're going to have, what the end game is. What I'm seeing is it's probably going to be something like a pre-civilization society. It's probably going to be like one man with, 10, 15, 20 women that he's with. We're seeing polyamory is very, very rapidly gaining in popularity. Polygamy, we'll probably see that coming in the future where one genetically superior male has many, many women and the genetically inferior men. And I don't know what they're going to do with the genetically inferior men. We're seeing, there's
robots, AI, adult entertainment, yeah.
Pornography, there's
video games, anime, basically. That's how you sedate men.
These things kind of keep them down, kind of keep them, something to kind of put in front of their face, kind of say, oh, here, take this, take these things. These things will keep you,
occupied,
satisfied meanwhile behind your back. And it's going on right now. You think it's not going on right now? You think that girl that, there's all these fucking white knights and everything. There's these girls and they're like, oh, she's got the glasses and the...
Yeah, he's pretty much nailing it where society's heading, at least in the West. But his mentality is a bit too doomer for me in terms of like, you have no power whatsoever. You're destined to fail. No, thanks. I could never buy into that prescription of life for myself because who wants to be powerless anyways? The true power is realizing you have all the power you need in these two hands in everything you do. Thoughts lead to actions, which lead to habits, which lead to outcomes, period. Once you realize that, you can start changing. I'm not going to say you're going to get a supermodel. I'm not going to say you're going to become a millionaire, but you can improve your situation dramatically, far more than you ever thought possible with just some hard work, determination, and always chasing your goals and never giving up. It's so constantly repeated because that's literally the secret to life. Most men, it just goes in one ear, out the other. That's the unfortunate part. Says the fact that it's a sub 5. Look at how insane these comments are. Sub 5 talking about this makes me trust him more. Normies always have a lot to say about that noir pill, even though they've never had any personal experience with being treated as subhuman. I remember this 6 years ago watching this video for the first time. I thought this guy was delusional. All these years later, I can see he's not only correct, this is biblical. They mocked him at the time. They didn't understand he was just the head of everyone else. He spoke the truth. We weren't ready for that type of knowledge then. Now he couldn't be more spot on. Yeah, and you can see the people that are gravitating towards believing in his doomer mentality too. Basically, you have no power. You're born that way. You've already lost. This is just lift weights in the shower while getting a haircut, bro. Mocking the whole, I guess you could call it, for them, it's the normie prescription to fixing yourself. And someone wrote here, bro, you just got to stop smoking, go to the gym, eat right. They're mocking him again. Get a good haircut, get a job, drive a better car, have an aesthetic jawline, strong chin, non-protruding eyes, be 6'5", lean as hell, yet muscular at about 220, have upright cheekbones, good posture, don't go bald, stop aging, and have a 9-inch hog and you're set. What's the problem? Jeez. Someone says, this is what happens when you literally absorb 4chan. Yeah. Anyways, interesting topic. Let me know what you guys think about his mentality. Some of his prescriptions and, prophecies of the future are actually coming true. The rest of his video you can find on his channel, First Last. Doesn't look like he's active at all. I'm actually curious. Is he active at all? No, he hasn't had a video since 7 years ago. Wonder what this guy's up to. Yeah, it's not looking good for this dude. Yeah, he's absorbed 4chan to the max. Hopefully, bro has gotten on the passport train and is living a happy life in Southeast Asia or something. Anyways, thoughts? Look at this. Drooping upper eyelids, losing focus in eye, light pulling down. Like, this is touch grass. Go touch grass, guys. And we'll see you on the next one.